Attack the enemy! Victory is ours!
Hello everyone, welcome back for some more War Thunder tanks, this time with a lower tier British lineup, mostly based on premiums. This was a battle from 22 September 2017 when I decided to grind out the Daimler Armored Car Mk.II and see if I could do it in one battle. So I loaded up my lineup with some premiums and talisman tanks, and I went to town, starting with my Excelsior tank. If you don't know where the Excelsior came from, it was part of the Christmas of 2016 giveaway for the War Thunder Chronicles event that they had around then. So that's where that came from. I find it to be pretty useful for lower tier stuff. It's pretty fast, it's decently armored, it's got a pretty good gun, and the ammo is alright for it too. As far as a larger, heavy type tank goes, it can move pretty well. And it can survive a couple hits, not too many, but you'll see. Take a few hits here before I get taken out. It was your typical Axis versus Allies matchmaking, so Russians, Americans, and British all on the same team. And it was a conquest battle, which I didn't quite expect that Achilles to stop right in front of me there, so I gave him a little bit of a nudge, but I don't think he could actually see anything where he did stop, so he moved forward pretty quickly, and I don't think I messed up his shot at all. I was going to get all the bigger tanks first for 1.71, but the research for the lower tier ones is just so much faster that I decided to get the first 10s out for the... Now this was funny right here. I could barely see that flak bus, but apparently it was enough to get a hull break on him. I did not expect to kill him with that shot. I wasn't sure what I could see there shooting, and then it turned out to be a flak bus with a hull break there. So you can see another enemy firing from behind this rock up here, so I just charged as fast as I could to get up here and get around him, and once he fired that second shot I knew he wasn't moving or relocating. And then as I came around the rock, handily, it turned out it was a Stug, so he wasn't about to turn around and get on me anyway. Get a good crew knockout on him for the second kill of the battle. Doing pretty well so far in the old Excelsior. Unfortunately, there was a ricochet there, but the shot that I took knocked out all of my turret crew. Thankfully, I had smoke grenades ready, and also thankfully, this Sherman Jumbo on my side charged forward and went right after him, and covered me while I was able to repair and re-crew a gunner. So I did repay the favor with him, and also charged the Panzer IV that was hitting us. And take his crew out for the third kill. And I can see a Whirlwind over here putting some shots at us. And I got a shot through his gun breeches and took out some of his crew there. And then started another repair for my engine and radiator damage. And then got a shot through him for my fourth kill with the Excelsior. So I probably had the Daimler Armored Car researched by this point alone. Just from the 4 kills and the amount of hits that I took. There was another Whirlwind coming out that the Sherman Jumbo finished off there while he was repairing. And that was about as close to the spawn as I wanted to go, plus there were multiple enemies being marked behind us, so went back to cover them and cover the A point and go back and take out these enemies from behind here. The Excelsior's got pretty decent mobility, all things considered, for how large of a tank it is. It's essentially close to being a Cromwell, with a little bit less speed. I find it pretty fun to drive, honestly, although I don't drive it all that often. So there we see somebody closely engaged with a friendly up here. And I'm going to move into where I can get a good shot at him. Unfortunately, only got just a real hit on the sight block, the vision block there for the driver, not taking out the driver himself. You can see somebody's on fire there. It turns out it was our friendly Cromwell who's been knocked out. And I got a shot in here that took out his loader and should have probably finished him further, but I was going to try and get a secondary hit on the other Panzer IV that was climbing the hill. And my loader was just too slow to get a shot in anyway, and I got killed by the Panzer IV-G. So nearly pulled off the ace with the Excelsior, but not quite. So came back in my Achilles with also as a premium, so doing everything I could to get as much research as possible quickly here so I could get the first 10 recorded after this battle. And I forgot just how slow the turret is on this thing. So I was set up watching that approach to our spawn just in case those Panzer IV-Gs came around that way, and then moving down to move up to a closer position up here where I know those other two Panzer IV-Gs are, or well, Panzer IVs. One for sure is a G, the other one could be a G or an H. And moving up next to the wood yard here, the lumber yard. Our team's taking the A point back, and I'm trying to move up and give them some cover. I see an enemy up near where the smoke cloud is, and I'm going to see if I can move up and get a shot at him. Somebody's getting marked here, and while our turret takes its sweet time, I get hit by a Panzer IV F2, who's waiting for anyone coming out of our spawn. Luckily, I had enough points left over for my Cromwell 5, which also has a talisman on it that I got from a lucky treasure chest at some point long ago. So I had a third talisman vehicle to bring out. Got an assist on the Panzer IV-G for the Excelsior, so pretty good run for the Excelsior. 4 kills, an assist, and a lot of damage taken. So I would assume that most of the damage score I got with the Excelsior probably covered the armored car. So heading back for revenge with the Cromwell here for the Panzer IV F2 that killed me, or the Panzer IV-G that I know is the other one still alive that I couldn't get a shot off. The one that killed me was killed, and that was the one I got the assist on. But I know there's at least that Panzer IV and another Panzer IV, probably G or H, coming, and there's the Panzer IV F2 that killed me. Gives me a pretty good shot on him as he's driving up the hill here. He's a bit obscured by the smoke here, or the smoke that someone else dropped, not him. The enemy has taken away the point, unfortunately. I'm having to just surgically remove this Panzer IV F2. Finally get him with a crew kill shot. And there's my 5th kill of the battle, and I'm going to move over towards defending the A point now, or recapturing the A point, rather, with my speedy little Cromwell here. And in my haste to get back to the point, I shot out in front of this Panzer IV that I didn't see until it was a little too late, and the speed of the Cromwell, unfortunately, and the lack of reverse speed kind of doomed me here. There was no way I was going to get my crew swapped out fast enough, unfortunately. So my kill to death ratio was still halfway decent at this point when I came back in my Armored Car Mk.II AA model. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of friendly armor left on the ground here. And for some reason, even though I had the lower spawn selected, the game switched me up to the upper spawn, which was a little bit farther away from the capture point, and not exactly the closest thing for me to get back and be able to help with the cap of A. So, coming in across some hills and terrain and doing the best I can to get there quickly, but the Armored Car Mk.II AA model is not the fastest thing for traversing any sort of terrain that isn't a paved road, basically. Now you can see we've got an M6A1 Heavy down there in the bottom, and he's making his way towards the A point along with a medium tank who's engaged with an enemy medium tank. So the best I can do to help here is get artillery on the enemy medium and then keep driving towards A. Of course, that medium was the Panzer IV-G that killed me, and he took out the T-34-57 that was engaged with him, and that probably doomed us right there. The M6A1 is still making his way towards the capture point, but probably not going to get there fast enough. And I got hit with a Panzerbefehlswagen from somewhere I couldn't see, who hit me with a hull break, and that was pretty much it at that point. I did bring in my spare AC Mk.II AA because what was the difference at this point? I knew I had the research finished, and I'm not going to play at this low of a battle rating very often, so using up the spare armored car really didn't matter. I wanted to make absolutely certain I had enough research for the Daimler at the end of this battle, even though I surely did at this point. But I was doing everything I could to try and help us get back to a victory and try to recapture the A point. So I'm zoomed in and trying to engage on the enemy aircraft here, and I get picked off by our Whirlwind, who's waiting for anybody to come out of our spawn, and that was it for me during this battle. The rest of the battle consisted of a couple of yaks on our team being the only guys left and just flying around chasing after an enemy plane, and that was it. It ended there. So close. So close to 1,000,000 Silver Lions, but not quite. Anyway, I certainly had more than enough research, nearly double what I needed to get the Daimler Armored Car Mk.II, so that was it. That was how I researched it in one battle. Sadly, my kill-to-death ratio got brought back to 1-to-1 with my few deaths at the end there, but 5 kills and an assist was enough. So that's it for today. I hope you guys liked this one. It was a little low-tier action that you don't see too often. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know, and we'll see you next time for more War Thunder. Have a great day, everybody.